grace and peace. Welcome to another episode of the TBT show. I'm Anthony Moten, my friend and brother, partner in crime. Seems like I haven't seen you in a while. I don't know.
Seems like it, buddy.
Yeah.
See, you take 1 week off, buddy.
Yeah, and there you right. The Right Reverend Elder Shawn P. Aguilar. Shawn, how you doing?
Man.
Wait. Better than I deserve.
Well, see, I was trying to give you something else.
Okay.
See, I put the pause in there to allow you to make your assumption. I was giving you the opportunity to jump to your conclusion.
Man, it's good seeing you.
Man, likewise. Likewise, everybody.
Yeah, it seemed like it's been a...
Did you have a change of heart?
No, I didn't have a change of
Laundry
shirt.
day? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
I got you.
No change of heart. But I mean, I like ACL.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. So, man, I thank you guys for joining us. Again, please like, share, subscribe, so we can increase our platform and talk about it a little bit more. And on top of that, I want to know what you think about a lot of our subject matter. So as things are discussed, please don't hesitate to comment, send emails, send comments, and give us another way of looking at some things. Shawn is he sent some topics this week. We're going to talk about them.
Why do I feel like I'm under a bus right now? I feel this heavy weight.
The wheels on the bus go around and
under the bus.
Right over Shawn.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We're living in a weird
Come on, man, let's get in some good trouble, buddy. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's get in some good trouble.
I'm with it. You know, trouble knows my name. I'm with it.
It is what it is, buddy.
Well, we're living in a weird season, man. All right. Culture.
Yeah.
It's just this is just a weird season. I'll just leave it at that. This is a weird season. So got a couple things to discuss. But again, don't hesitate to comment.
And let us know if there's a particular topic you want to address, a story that you saw.
Yeah.
Shoot it over to us, and we'd be happy to take a look at it and bring it before the people.
Yeah.
And give our cultural commentary.
Yeah. And
so
then help us. I know I'm a little closed-minded at times, so I want to be able to look at everything from multiple angles. Yeah. Now I probably won't change my mind, but at least I'll look at it from multiple
Send all the Michael Jordan videos, all the, send all that in there so that Moten can enjoy for his viewing pleasure.
Shawn is such a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater.
I'm gonna reach out and see if I can get Nick right on.
Okay.
He has ties to the Houston area. He lived here for a while.
Okay.
And I think his wife is from here.
Okay.
But Nick will help build.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Yeah. He's a let's just say a heavy proponent of LeBron.
Nick comes up with some actual factuals that
Yeah, but it's still falls short. Still irrelevant.
How can facts fall short?
What are you talking about? Just because but it's not facts that he's the greatest. It's just facts that he's good.
But if I line up a bunch of facts, you'll have to come to that conclusion. Nobody's drawing that conclusion for you, but I'm giving you the facts. I'm giving you 2 and 2. Now you tell me what 2 + 2 is.
Yeah, but that's not. I know. I don't see 6. I see 6 losses and not 6 wins.
Okay, let's move on. The words of my father, talking to Shawn sometimes like arguing with a stop sign.
Hey, buddy.
So what do you have?
So your favorite first lady, Dr. Jill Biden, is set to go to King Charles III's coronation, and Joe Biden will not be attending. All right, this is in keeping with U.S. Tradition as American presidents. have not attended a coronation. That's been a long time because Queen Elizabeth has been on the throne for a while.
Right.
But this is the first time I want to say that the First Lady has led the American delegation. So at least Joe is trying to show that, hey, you know, we're with you.
Support.
Yeah, you know, we're sending, you know, that delegation out led by First Lady Jill Biden. What I find interesting is when she gets when there's an invitation given, you know, then she's going because she was the one that was invited.
Right.
What I find very interesting is how she extends invitations seems to be different than how she accepts invitations. So Jill Biden's office retracted the invitation to the losing NCAA women's basketball team from Iowa after it was indicated that they might be included in the national champion invitation to the White House, and clarified that the invitation is for just the winning team.
As it always has.
As it always has been.
Right.
You know, as it was in the days of old.
Yeah.
You know, that the winners, you know.
And should remain.
And should remain. That the winners, the national champions themselves, not, you know, are invited to come to the White House and have an audience because they won the national championship, not just because they played a good game.
Right.
I find it very interesting, the circumstances as to why she would extend the invitation and expand it in that way. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I have mine. I think you can already perceive where I'm coming from.
Well, that was
curious.
Probably one of the biggest simple issue faux pas in political history. But here's what it does show. And I know we've learned to divide on Republican versus Democrat, and even choosing Joe, and I know this has very little to do with Joe.
No, nothing to do with Joe.
But even choosing Joe, for me, it just highlighted just a whole nother vein of people that I'm just tired of. And just be honest, we're going to get in good trouble. I'm just tired of old white men. So even though he's out there. Even though he's a Democrat, you know there's a level of racism still. So if Iowa would have won a predominantly white team, she wouldn't have thought it fair to include LSU.
Right.
But because LSU won, now it's only fair to invite Iowa.
Right.
Shows their level of racial bias.
So do you think that that was the main thing? It was mainly a racist situation?
Of course. What else could it be?
Oh, I think there's
I
think there's another component.
What?
I think there's a political component.
You think?
Where are the primaries held?
I don't think she thought that much into it.
You don't think that the First Lady, her husband is planning to run for president as the leader of the Democratic Party. And he's likely to face at least some opposition. And the first state that does their primaries, you don't think that might have been part of the calculation to be like, oh, you know, our first stop's going to be Iowa. Maybe we should kind of throw them a little Scooby snack.
Joe Biden is not worried about no primaries.
I didn't say that Joe Biden was worried about it.
I don't think she even.
I'm just saying it's another element of the calculation.
Okay, here's what I think the catalyst was. You got a bunch of braggadocious black girls on the floor who are rubbing their win in the faces of these white girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's only fair we invite them. It's only fair.
Well,
I don't think she thought ahead to primaries or anything. I see.
I didn't say it was the major motivation.
Just a motivation.
A motivation. I say it was the primary. But at the end of the day, from Jill Biden to Caitlyn Clark, you can't see me.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
That's what it is. You can't see me.
And then I think that was already one. LSU played the level that they played because they were already kind of frustrated of how I think we're all competitors, but how they responded to beating South Carolina did something to LSU. And then you got these comments that are being made. It gets back to Dawn Staley, who makes this comment defending her girls. And so yeah, you grew up with brothers, you know how it is. We gonna fight each other,
right?
But nobody else,
right?
Fight us.
You can't talk. Yeah, about
right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
only I can talk about.
Yeah, so it was that they went into defense, and it's like so certain things are done, and I think Jill was just like, if I was LSU, I wouldn't even go.
Well, and that has been done in the past. But here's the deal: is that Jill Biden wasn't just speaking as Jill Biden. She spoke from the office of the First Lady of the United States. You spoke from the office. That's different. That's different. You see what I'm saying?
Aren't there people in place to stop them from doing stupid stuff?
Hey, buddy. Fail safes don't always keep you safe from failing.
Like, and nobody's even said, look, you can invite Iowa. People get invited to the White House all the time.
Right.
You can invite them.
Right. But not as part of the national championship celebration. Invite them on Good Effort Day. Don't invite them on National Champion Day.
I just,
hey, we're gonna have the Iowa team come for Good Effort Day.
Right. We all win
next week.
Yeah, but not this. This is, and it's just a bad look.
It's a bad look all the way around.
It's just a bad look.
It's a bad look all the way around because of everything that surrounds it. Does that make sense? It's a bad look because of everything that happened in terms of the tensions on the court, and then the Twitter sphere, blow up after the fact, and then you add in, the political element and all that different stuff. Because Joe Biden never addressed this. This was a thought in Jill Biden's head.
It's got to be somebody that goes, "Hey, Tim, what you want to say?" No, don't say that.
But she just said it kind of like off the cuff. And that's the problem is that.
And there was a reporter around?
Well, it doesn't matter. The cameras are rolling.
Like, you can't say that, dude.
The cameras are rolling. But see, the problem is that she started thinking out loud. And instead of just saying, hey, congratulations, LSU, she said, I think I'll tell Joe that we should And then between tick and talk, Joe's like, not the best. But you've already said it at this point. You've already said it.
And Joe's already leaning on his last leg.
This is you got enough stuff to deal with. Yeah. I don't need to deal with a race war tinderbox.
So as as bad of a president as Joe arguably is, you're telling me the worst thing that happened in his family is his wife and his son. Like, how jacked up is that?
Oh, they always getting him over the sun. They didn't they call it the laptop from hell? Yeah. I can't believe that in a congressional hearing they're talking about the laptop from hell. This is something else.
That's just, and then that's what did you coin them? That unforced errors.
Unforced errors. Nobody said you had to do this.
No.
Nobody.
And then
threatened you with bodily harm if you don't do this.
And then you think through it, and it was like, okay, so what could be gained? Okay, what could be lost?
And that's what I'm saying. That's where I think the political thing comes in, because what could be gained is favor.
From who?
From Iowa. From Iowans. And also some people, I've even heard some things where people have been in terms of the individual personality of Caitlyn Clark. That, you know, because she's a prominent figure, that's the closest thing they have to pro sports.
Right.
In Iowa, is the college sports.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, that she's a well-known. Some people have said, hey, that, you know, she might be a future, you know, have future political aspirations, you know, And I'm like, okay, I mean, she hadn't done nothing yet. I mean, not to say that her accomplishments in terms of the court, but I mean, in life,
right?
You haven't.
What are you?
You're getting started, you know, in terms of life. I mean, you may, you know, she's likely to go pro, go to the WNBA somewhere, but it won't be in Iowa. Last time I checked, there's no WNBA team
she's
anywhere near
there.
Go pro. Yeah, she'll go pro.
Yeah,
but
what does that say?
I don't know, but I mean, I think it's a stretch. But somebody, I forgot exactly who it was trying to say that maybe there's some political future for Caitlyn Clark, you know, specifically with the Democratic Party,
and it still could be. It just wasn't.
But it wasn't the time, wasn't the place.
And now you're right.
It's like, hey, if that's what you're gonna do, okay,
then
great.
do it.
Then do it next week.
A week after.
Right, next week.
A month after.
Do it on Good Effort Day.
Yeah. Just
not on Get the Job Done Day. This is about who got the job done.
Right.
LSU got the job done.
Right.
Period.
Right.
No matter how.
Right.
And like, I mean, now you can't talk trash in sports now. I mean, come on, man.
But
I can't even imagine. Like, think about growing up. Go to the park, play basketball. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. And if you can't handle that, you can't go play at the park 10, 12 years old.
Man, a buddy of mine is a coach, the middle school level, and he was talking about how different we played when we were in middle school. He was talking about how different it was. He had a kid, I don't know, miss a tackle, something like that, a blown coverage or something. It was something simple. And he came to the sideline crying and just refused to go back in the game. We live in a softer generation.
Soft life.
It is.
I hear this term I hear this term thrown around with the ladies. You know, that they're looking for the soft life. You know, and hey, I get that, but when I think about sports, that child, they can't sit on the sidelines in the game of life.
Right.
They can't say, well, you know what, I want some Gatorade and an orange slice, and I don't want to have to worry about paying my bills.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right. You got to get in and play as hard as you can.
You got to play to the whistle. That's what Coach said to me. To the whistle.
Yeah. I don't.
So.
And I think it just. Clark, I don't think she feels any type of way. Matter of fact, she said in the interview, I don't think. Like, hey, that's part of the game.
This is just all going on around her.
Right.
I don't think she even. Right. It's like, hey.
Yeah, it's part of
play the best we could play. Okay, they talk some noise, whatever.
They got us this year.
They got us.
We're going to line up and do it again next year.
Cool, And I appreciate that in terms of she has not taken the victimhood. Right. So I do give her credit there, kudos there, because she has not participated. But people have been trying to use this situation, to talk down. Because there's definitely people out there. If you've been on Twitter, you type in Mark Taylor, you'll see someone that is denigrating the student athlete, and denigrating those that are black athletes, and so it's just, I just hate to see things get to the point where you can't even have, no one's being threatened. There's no physical violence. Right. But talking trash, come on, man. That's part of the game. Mental toughness. When you look at, because people will always extol the virtues of putting your children in sports for the building of character. Well, part of it is dealing with adversity. Absolutely. And part of the adversity is how do you play from behind? How do you get back in the game? How do you keep your composure? All this different stuff. But it seems like at every turn, it's like, hey, you know what? let's not ever have to face adversity.
Right.
Let's not worry about who won and who lost. Everybody gets participation trophies.
Right.
And in the effort to protect children from pain,
right,
you end up, promoting their inability and their ineffectuality.
It's what we used to call good sportsmanship. Just keeping a level head, no matter. Okay, well, she got me. It's gonna. I'll use that to ignite me to get her. I think a couple weeks ago. I know you don't watch them, but my favorite team, the Lakers. So they're playing games that they needed to get in the playoffs. Chicago comes to town. Patrick Beverly, who they had just traded, scores on LeBron at the end. He does the too small move. So, but they, this was like a Sunday, so they got Chicago again in Chicago like that Wednesday. So, but he did it. They lost the game, whatever, and I'm sure in the heads of a lot of people it was over with. But, some of the Lakers was like, oh, okay, we on that get back. So Austin Reeves scores a bucket at the end of their game. They're winning. He does the too small move. Like, that's a part of sports. That's what it is. It's because you're not only competing physically, you're competing mentally. Yeah. I'm trying to do my best to get in your head, shake you up, whatever. You take that out of the game, then you might as well just not play. Everybody's not going to be Magic Johnson.
And sometimes the mental game starts before the game.
Absolutely.
Muhammad Ali.
Right.
Who was it? Joe Frazier?
Yeah. King.
What's my name?
Yeah.
What's my name?
Yeah.
No, because somebody,
Come on, Gorilla.
Right?
Yeah.
So I forgot. I think it was Frazier.
Yeah.
He called him Cassius.
Yeah.
He was like,
oh, yeah.
No, Thriller Manila was Foreman.
It was it?
Yeah, that was Foreman. But there was this when
was it? Wait.
Reverend, you can make me look it up.
You can look it up because I remember him saying, "Come on, Gorilla, we're Manila," and that was that was Joe Frazier.
No, that was Joe Frazier.
Yeah, it was Joe Frazier.
Yeah, that was Joe Frazier.
Because I said he wrong for that because he kind of do. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, and
I think that was the third one.
Yeah.
But this was, and I saw the clip the other day
because they doing the movie for George Foreman.
Okay.
The comeback trail at the 40-year-old. I can't think of what the movie is called, but it'll be out this year. So yeah, I mean, but that's part of even what was the guy that had
Ernie Terrell.
Okay.
So he wouldn't call him Muhammad Ali. He's like, basically, like what they're saying, come in America. Yeah. Your mama named you Clay? I'm going to call you Clay.
Yeah.
And so this guy called him Cassius Clay. And before he even started, he's like, I'm going to make you, he's like, you're going to address me as Muhammad Ali, and this is my name, and da-da-da. And so he's laying it in on this dude, and then he's punching this dude and telling him, asking him, what's my name? What's my name? Just killing the guy, The mental game sometimes starts before the bell rings, before the buzzer sounds.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes like playing basketballs, you could be warming up, passing people in the locker room, and now you got social media. Right. Oh my! Right. What are you kidding me?
Right.
So you got to have your head on straight.
You have to. And I'm saying like that's just not only is that part of the game, it should be like a part of the game that's free and flow. People talk about Kobe Bryant was, king, trash.
Oh yeah, he talked a lot of trash.
Michael Jordan was king trash. Like everybody's not gonna be Magic and Isaiah kissing and stuff before the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not right. Sometimes there is
Bird. Bird is like
was king. They said king trash.
He talked a lot of trash. Now he wouldn't go out of his way, but even one time he was playing and ran by the opposing team's bench and said, y'all disrespecting me. And they're like, what's going on? They had put a white defender on him. He's like, y'all ought to at least respect me enough to put a black guy on me. And so it's like, sometimes the trash talk wasn't at you personally. Now, sometimes it was.
Sometimes it is.
And
but
so
that's part of the dynamic of the game.
A lot of reports that Jordan really didn't say much until you said something to him. But if you said something to him out of line,
it's wide open.
He's coming after you.
Yeah,
he's coming after you.
I know Evan never, he wasn't a talker like that. You know, Evan kind of quiet. He wasn't a talker like that. But I do remember him. It was his junior year. The coach that he had his sophomore year that had taken him deep into the playoffs, almost to state, took another job. And they ended up playing his team his sophomore year. And Evan he hit a three, came down court. Coach, come get him. He can't hold me.
Right.
hit another shot. Hey, coach, what you gonna do?
Right.
Hey, call another defense. This one ain't working.
Right.
That's part of
the game.
That's part. I mean, and you got to work those dynamics. And so, she didn't have an exceptional game, and Clark wasn't having a great game either. But I think that was part of it. That jawing back and forth, whatever. And again, Clark he's a trash talker.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Gotta be.
So if she can do it, you got to be able to take it as well as you can dish it out.
It just came off as people being sensitive because it seemed like this.
But now it's like, let me look for the opportunity for outrage.
Yeah.
It's like people want to be outraged. Right. And it's like, hey, just let me find an opportunity. Let me give me a vehicle to be outraged, because that's like the cool thing to do now is be outraged.
Those other things start coming out, you heard stuff like classless and ghetto and that kind of stuff, whatever. And I'm like, no. It's then
take that and put it on Caitlyn Clark.
Right.
The week before.
Right.
So is she also classless and ghetto?
Right.
So what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
That's why it just wasn't something good for the White House to get in. Because now
it's too you're going in the gutter. And
that's
not a place.
Right.
You just don't go there.
Right.
Just don't go there.
You want to come to the White House?
Yeah, we congratulate
you. Come, y'all come, get your trophy, whatever. Yeah. And a week later, hey, missteps.
That's again unforced error. Unforced error.
I get it.
I
hate old Joe got to eat it, but it is what it is.
No, I get it. So, also in the world of sports, I saw the movie Air, which talks about, kind of the whole situation surrounding Nike. I'm not going to stay on it, but relax.
The nothingness of Michael Jordan. Hey, was it good?
It was pretty good.
Scale of 1 to 10?
7.5, 8. I mean, it was a good movie. It was good acting. It was well done. And it was Amazon Studios. It was Amazon production.
Okay.
But, it's out in theaters. But no, it was a good movie. I mean, just from you don't have to be a Michael Jordan fan to appreciate it.
I mean,
because it's a story.
So I was gonna watch it anyway.
Well, that's what it is. It's a historical thing.
Yeah.
And it's really not as much about Michael Jordan himself. It's about Nike.
Right.
It's about Nike's position in the marketplace versus at the time, Converse and Adidas
that
were the powerhouses.
Right.
They were the powerhouses.
Right.
Now Nike owns Converse. But back then, Nike owns Converse.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah. You can buy. Yeah, Nike owns Converse. Yes, sir. So, but you would have never thought that would have happened in the late 70s, early 80s. Right. And so just from if you just appreciate sport, the business surrounding sport, that type of stuff, because it's from the perspective of Nike. Mike it's about them signing Mike only in the sense of how pivotal of a moment it was for the company.
Right. Okay.
But this is not a movie about Michael Jordan. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and I'm saying that to go somewhere else, but Nike obviously is a huge brand, in sport, all this different stuff.
Absolutely.
And recently, they have been criticized by a retired former athlete regarding their latest ad campaign. Okay. So the artist formerly known as Bruce Jenner.
Okay.
You may see this person present themselves as Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
Nowadays has lashed out at Nike for an ad featuring a Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney is a biological male that presents as a trans woman. And this biological male that presents as a trans woman, but has not had any surgeries or anything like that, all physically the same.
So he hasn't been physically altered?
No, hasn't been physically altered.
Okay. How can you be, okay, go ahead. How can you be trans if you have,
hey bro,
but okay, go ahead. Okay.
Questions that need answers. Okay. But I that's a whole other ball of wax or part of it, or part of the situation. But he considers himself part of the trans community. Okay. But really, like playing dress up type situation. Okay. He presents and acts like a woman. Right. But not an athlete. But yet, Dylan Mulvaney is a paid ambassador for their women's line of clothing. So for some athletic wear. Okay. So this is Caitlyn Jenner speaking. I'm about to quote Caitlyn Jenner. Okay. It is a shame to see such an iconic American company go so woke. Jenner wrote on Twitter, "We can be inclusive, but not at the expense of the mass majority of people, and have some decency while being inclusive. This is an outrage." So what Caitlyn Jenner is saying about Dylan Mulvaney is that this is a problem that Nike is going to this non-athlete trans woman and paying this non-athlete trans woman that's a biological male to model and advertise sports bras.
So this non-athletic, non-trans.
No, a non-athletic.
Like, well, really, if you're not, I mean, come on, like,
no, yeah,
if you're not,
no, it's a dude that just put on a skirt, bro, and some makeup.
I don't want to mess the terminology up. So he has his show now.
They used to be RuPaul. They used to call it, a cross-dresser, a transvestite, different type of trans than what you would think is a transgender. Right. But so Dylan Mulvaney is transgender only in the mind.
Okay, so he's just
presents right.
So I'm going to just take that label, but why would? Okay, so I have a lot of questions.
Exactly,
and this is very confusing.
No, and that's why I'm trying to be very careful with how I'm wording and phrasing it as to accurately represent it. Now, watch this. Now, there was an actual woman in 2018, Allison Felix. Okay, that was a 10 times Olympic gold medalist. Okay. She was offered a contract by Nike. But in between tick and tock, she got pregnant. And then Nike offered her a contract, but 70% less than the original contract, just because she got pregnant. And she's an actual woman. So they're paying top dollar to this non-woman, non-athlete. I don't get it.
And see, okay,
this,
so and
it's a lot,
and I don't want to be, and I don't want it to seem like anyone's being mean spirited or
not trying to be mean spirited. I'm just trying to understand.
I
really am just trying to understand.
First of all, if you're Nike, because we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. Some kind of race. I can't remember what I read it. I think I sent it to you. Some kind of race. A trans one, or it came in like 4th place or something.
Oh yeah. I forgot the name, but it was a swimming competition.
Yeah.
NCAA.
So
And,
there are
they tied for fourth place. A biological female tied for fourth place with a biological male. There was a trans woman.
Right.
Now I think in this case the person had transitioned surgically.
Okay.
Surgically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are trans, if that's what you want to do. If you're Nike,
Surgically altered
there
male.
are surgically altered trans that are athletes, is my point. That you could. So what is so special about Dylan that you would you would contract him non-athletic trans at label only?
The only thing special about Dylan Mulvaney, in the sense of the wider culture, okay, is that he's trans. And so
by label only, though.
By label only. Now here's the deal. He started like a little blog or YouTube channel or something that documented like my first day as a girl, my second day as a girl.
Okay.
And then basically he just exhibited, he started dressing like a girl and started putting on makeup and was like, oh, I just cried, and just all these like way over the top type of things. Then he got invited. Somebody
referenced it then.
He got invited to the White House to meet with,
And I've never heard the name until today. And I'm saying I've never heard the name. I don't remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody referenced it in an I'll find it and send it to you. In a city, some city or was having some town hall or whatever, and a trans was confronting one of the city officials, and he was like, so what makes you not, because really arguing with his position mindset on trans, what makes you feel like that? And he mentioned that video that my first day as a girl, that kind of whatever. And so but again, like, so here's my issue. And again, it's not mean spirited. I'm just trying, I'm just trying to wrap my head around just where we are.
Right.
Like, so what are the rules, the guidelines? So like,
there are none, bro. Because it's in the idea of the LGBTQIA plus community, gender is a social construct that's fluid. It's on a not only is it on a spectrum, meaning that it's not, they don't agree with the binary concept of sex.
Okay.
Some of them, you may get them to agree that, okay, sex is fixed, but they separate sex and gender.
Okay.
So that basically you're assigned your sex at even Siri don't know what to make of this. Even Siri don't know what to make of this. I don't know. Siri doesn't know how to respond to this.
No, okay. So and I sort of kind of.
So they separate. Okay, yeah, they separate gender and sex. So sex is assigned at birth, but gender can be whatever you want it to be.
Right, but like, but trans is the changing of gender.
Correct.
Which requires
binary. That's the thing. That's the part that's the logical fallacy there, is that if you really did believe that, there's no need to change
what doesn't exist.
That's the part that's weird. So you're participating and operating in a binary structure because that's reality. But then you want to mentally throw it away when it's convenient. Because think about it. If gender really is fluid, then there's nothing to change because it doesn't exist. So why are you mutilating your body? Well, because you know that you live in reality, and reality in nature and history has told you that there's an A and a B, contrary to what some pastor from Oklahoma might tell you. There is no A, B, C, D. There's only A and B. There's only male and female. Okay,
so maybe so here's my confusion as it relates to Dylan.
Uh-huh.
So without surgical
alteration,
then how can you claim to be like, it's almost like,
because again, you're restricting
that movement of trans is being hijacked by somebody who's just putting on clothes.
Correct. And that's where Caitlyn Jenner is like, hey, bro, you ain't even committed.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
You haven't cut anything off.
Right.
You know?
And maybe that's the frustration because, again, Caitlyn Jenner, one, is trans for real.
Right.
And an athlete.
Right. So now you see why Caitlyn Jenner is upset. Wait a minute. I'm committed to the cause. She's saying, look, I mean, you don't get much more committed
than to go through the surgery.
Than to go through the mutilation of your genitalia.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So Caitlyn Jenner's like, wait a minute. I mutilated my genitalia and all this different stuff, and you want to be on the other side of the country.
Way to say that.
Yeah.
You gotta find.
But it's a scientific fact. You know? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, so
I just don't see.
But see, that's the thing. People don't think about that's what's happening to children that, oh, well, you know, gender reassignment. No, this is mutilation, irreversible of the body.
And because again, I try to be open. So even if you don't count it as that, you can't let somebody hijack your focus and your label by just saying that I'm that.
But that's almost like. But that's where Caitlyn Jenner is coming in, talking about, hey, this is her effort at brand management. Hey, hold on.
Yeah, right.
I'm an athlete,
right,
and she's, so Caitlyn Jenner is presenting as the chief trans, the elder trans, the elder statesperson of transness.
Right.
That, wait a minute, hold on there, buddy. You're neither.
Right.
You're not trans enough, nor athlete enough, nor woman enough to literally fill the cups of the bra.
Right.
That Nike's paying you to wear. Right. Now, here's the deal. Nike is not the first brand to try to establish a partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. Anheuser-Busch, you may know their brands as Budweiser and Bud Light, has plastered the image of Dylan Mulvaney on their beer cans. And for their time and trouble, they've lost $5 billion in value because people are boycotting buying beer.
Yeah, it got to be for real if you boycotting buying beer.
Well, they're buying beer. They're buying Miller. They're buying Bush. They're buying, something else, but they're not buying Bud Light.
I hope they're not buying Bush.
I hope not either.
Yeah. But again, it makes sense.
Think of the beer drinking demographic.
Okay.
Does that line up?
No. Okay.
No, come on, man.
Okay.
So whoever the VP of marketing was, hey, sometimes when you go woke, you go broke.
I'm not even opposed to going, but it's like you have to find. That's almost like saying, hey, I want to advertise.
The stock price is down
for an African-American athlete, but you hire to advertise for an African-American athlete an unathletic white guy.
Unathletic.
Like, it's the total opposite of what you're trying to, but as long as that guy claims to be, you know what I'm saying, African American, it's like just because you say it don't make it true. Like,
well, and that's been an example is used like on some other podcasts is that, hey, if you're this was two women talking to each other, and one woman that was the host asked the other woman, if your son came home and said that they felt like they were a girl, what would you say to them? And the lady responded saying, oh, well, let's sit down and have a talk with them and this and that. Okay. So, or that they basically would accept it, but they would, figure out the way forward. Right. And so then the question was asked, well, what if your white son came home and said that he was black? Oh, well, we'd have to get him straightened out. Well, hold on. So you're okay with transsexual,
but
you're not okay with transracial.
We can play with that gender,
right? No.
But you're not black.
You're not right. So for some reason, objective reality works on the transracial, but not on the transsexual.
You done went too far now.
Right. But this has been done. There's a guy that was, from the United Kingdom and said he's Korean. Said, hey, he's transracial.
Yeah,
only eats Korean food, plays Korean games, all this different stuff. But Korean people are like, no, sir.
Right, that's
you're
not right.
You're not Korean.
You may like.
You can cut your hair however you want. You can dye it however you want. You listen to
like
K-pop. Yeah, you may like it. All that different stuff. Woo woo. But you're not Korean. So.
See, my thing is, and I would tell the community and anyone in that community just to be careful about who you allow to
represent
your label.
Right.
Because and I don't know, Dylan never heard him, whatever, but he could be doing this because he knows we live in a generation that desires to be considered open so much, they'll pay him just because he says he is what he is not, when there are opportunities to, Dwayne Wade's daughter has, I think she signed a contract with Puma, I think.
Now, that's a little different. Here, I would still disagree with the lifestyle choice, but what I'm saying is that Dylan Mulvaney doesn't have breasts.
That's what I mean, and that's it. Yeah, Puma commercial.
Now, but that's just streetwear style,
right?
It's so that's but the Nike thing. How are you gonna sell? How are you gonna be the poster child?
Right.
And the
sports bra,
to a
and you don't need a bra,
right?
Or do you play sports?
Right, exactly. None of this adds up. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I think that it would even be different if there was the surgically altered male situation that presented as a woman,
right?
And okay,
and then at least you could.
At least there's the appearance, even if you disagree with the ideology. But this is so bad that literally the snake is eating itself.
Yeah.
You got one end of the trans spectrum is eating its own tail at the other end.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, wow.
Caitlyn just say, no.
Right.
No.
Yeah, not after all I've done. You're going to put some respect on my name. All three of y'all. Yes. So the OG, the OG says, no, son, wow. You have not earned the right. But it's amazing how they treat the actual Olympic medalist woman worse.
Right.
For being a woman, doing what she's designed to do as a woman. And then you take somebody that has no athletic achievement, that is not a woman, and that person gets treated better.
But it says a lot. One, it says a lot about our culture. But two, it says a lot about Nike.
It says a lot.
And I know we don't want to, whatever, but
now, I'm not telling everybody to run out and burn your Air Force Ones and all this different stuff.
But
all that. But they're telling you who they are.
Who they are. Right.
In the words of one of our elder poets, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. What Nike is saying is it's more important for us how we look.
Right. Than who we are.
Actually treat
right. Than who we are.
Right. And again, you got.
So now they need to change their motto from just do it to just think it.
Right.
Because doing no longer matters.
Right.
Because Dylan Mulvaney hasn't done anything in the athletic world. Not one thing.
Now it makes your whole for me, now it makes your whole brand look.
Just appear it. And then even the appearance ain't there.
Right. Because
so
you ain't gotta have no
just
fruit.
It.
Just just leaves. I mean, look, I don't. And again, the only thing that's messed up about it is there is some company somewhere that actually cares that is actually trying to be
Mm-hmm.
open and it makes everyone look like they're just out for a dollar. And
that's what it is. And so, but you got Nike and Bud Light are staying the course. They're sticking with, they have not abandoned the campaign. And so we'll see how much pain that they're willing to now. Nobody's boycotting Nike yet, but they are, and part of it is because, again,
demographic is different.
Well, demographic is different. This is a women's line,
right?
But you went straight at the heart
with the beer situation. Yeah, you're talking about Billy.
Kid Rock took some cases out in the field and like shot it up with an assault rifle.
Yeah,
he's upset.
Yeah,
he might need he might need an orange slice.
Yeah,
he's really upset.
You talking about Billy from Corrigan, Texas? Yes.
Yeah.
That's your beer drinker.
That's your beer drinker. That's your core demographic.
Yeah, right.
And so now it's like, hey, I don't want my beer to be woke type situation. So
I like my beer sleepy.
So watch, there's going to be some neocon beer company that's going to come out with the complete opposite strategy. Right. So I'm curious to see if Miller Lite's going to come across with the, who used to do Real Men of Genius? They need to bring that back.
And then because now that's probably the biggest domestic beer.
Yo, Bud Light, absolutely.
So now Bud Light have guys drinking.
They're gonna drink
Dos Equis and everything, or even jumping to some foreign. That's,
they're going somewhere. Because here's the deal:
Shiner might come up.
Rest assured, beer is still being drunk.
Absolutely,
it's just not Bud Light. It's not like beer consumption all of a sudden fell down. No. Yeah. Bud Light's stock price. It dropped. It knocked down, this isn't just sales, it knocked down the value of the company.
Wow.
4%. The stock price is down. And you notice that 4% is $5 billion.
Of course. How far are you willing to go for a look?
Right. And that's everybody. Think about that. That's everybody's, employee plan, 401k, anybody that works for Anheuser-Busch that's got their money invested. Down the toilet, sir.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that they're out of business, but it's a noticeable decline, actually 4.9% to be exact. And they are at a, they took a significant hit.
Yeah.
So you got non-athlete, non-women that are participating in sports advertising. And then, man, I saw this other story as reported by Fox News that now if you can't call females ladies anymore. School district to hear from public after superintendent candidate lost job for greeting 2 females as ladies. So there was a job offer extended from a school to a candidate to be the superintendent. And on the email were 2 biological females who identify as, for everything that we can tell, they present as such, right?
Right.
But he hit reply all and typed in LADIES and addressed the 2 females that sent him the job offer collectively as ladies.
Okay.
Well, these 2 females, can't say ladies, they labeled it, they withdrew the job offer and labeled him addressing them collectively as ladies as a microaggression. They said that committee members believed it was extremely unprofessional and inappropriate to address with such familiarity that he had not earned. Now, I never have been of the thought that it required familiarity to address a woman as a lady. It'd be the same thing as saying, ma'am, that's actually what I call you when I don't know you.
Right. So,
because think about it.
okay,
If you're
so
it's just
what
in
was,
your,
so what was their optimum? What would they
to be addressed by their name or
their
title,
names?
name or title, to be addressed by their name or title. But that's so mechanical. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Do I have to address you by your legal government name and your title, like we're in Game of Thrones or something?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like Anthony of the family Moten, second of his name. It's like that's
Really.
well, I'm just saying, like that is that how we have to address people in order to not get in trouble? I mean, this dude had a job that was offered, and then it was moved to the point of, okay, they offered you the job. Now it's salary negotiation, and then the basically the first email in the salary negotiation, he sent an email that was like, ladies, like maybe thank you, ladies, comma, da 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 da. Look forward to working with you, whatever. Oh, he called us ladies. Right. Microaggression.
I just don't. So it, and I guess and it could be twofold. One, we just live in a super hyper sensitive society.
Sensitive.
Like everyone thinks everything means something, when most of the times it means nothing.
Nothing. So here's a further report. The salutation ladies raise concerns amongst most that the candidate might make administrators and teachers feel uncomfortable if used in the future instead of calling them by their names or titles.
Wow.
So they're going to hold a public hearing to figure out, what's what, all this different stuff.
Wow.
If this is something that the school district wants to proceed with, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm trying to make sense of this stuff. It just doesn't make sense. So it's gotten so bad that they have to have an in-person thing because they tried to host a Zoom and so many people tried to log on the Zoom that it like crashed it.
Wow.
They tried to do a Zoom just so that everybody could just jump on that way. Mm-hmm. And the Zoom literally couldn't handle the amount of people trying to get in.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, wow. I just don't even know how to respond. I'm kind of like Siri. I don't know how to respond to that. But yeah, so somebody that was a member says that my name and title were used in an email for procedural purposes. I want to be clear. I am a lady. I appreciate being called such, and I appreciate being treated as such. To me, the word represents respect. I'm not offended by the word or term. However, I'm respectful to those who may be offended by the word or term. So the thing is that now
I'm not offended.
You got to apologize for other people that might be offended.
Right.
It's sad.
I'm not offended, but I want to say it's okay if you're offended.
I stand in solidarity with those that have the possibility of being offended.
We live in a hypersensitive society, man. I
mean, come on, man. I mean, this just doesn't even make sense.
So it's almost like, those are one of those things, because I can hear myself doing it. Somebody I don't know being introduced to.
If you just open a door for someone, it's like, oh, let me get the door for you, ma'am. Oh, thank you, sir. This is normal.
That's normal conversation.
Right. And then guess what? You never see that person again.
Yeah.
And you address them as sir or ma'am because you don't know them.
Right.
And you're trying to be respectful.
Right.
Because I don't want to say, something that's disrespectful or colloquial. I want to.
If I do, then that's
a problem. So it's like, I didn't know that, like, you could call someone a lady and be offensive. And so we're just in this upside down, inside out, topsy turvy, hall of mirrors type of weird, you know, society where you got something that isn't saying that it is, and something that is saying that it isn't, you know, and it's just everybody's just waiting to be outraged. And it kind of, you know, goes back to Chris Rock's special, Selective Outrage. It's like, oh, hey, here's my opportunity to be offended.
To be a victim and
right. Regard me. Cheer for me. Clap for me. Like Jeb Bush. Clap now. You know, look
crazy.
At how woke and cultured I am. Look at how I'm offended by being called what I am.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, man. But yeah, and that's in the culture. That's in the culture.
Wow.
You know, the secular culture. But man, we are not immune in the church to the upside down, inside out, topsy turvy, hall of mirrors.
Unfortunately,
I'll let you go ahead and highlight this one.
And I'll put it like this: the last couple of weeks, you know, the Passion Week and Easter weekend, I've just been exposed to a lot of church.
Mm-hmm.
Some good, some bad, some worse than bad.
Yeah.
So the video that I sent you, and so I'm watching someone that it pops up. I don't know how. I need to figure it out so I can stop it from popping up. So it pops up clips from Mike Todd's Easter worship.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I was like, is this, because I was like, I did some research because I was like, this isn't real.
This is a deep fake. It can't be real.
It can be.
It can be. But it can. It can be.
And if anybody's seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it was a lot of rapping and explosions and lights and smoke, and even the lyrics of the songs that they were using for Easter Sunday morning worship was weird for me. And I grew up in the hood. Like I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I don't, I jam.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? I don't always
it.
play Nearer My God to Thee. Like,
right.
I jam. But like the song, I was like, what? This can't be church.
You don't just listen to James Cleveland?
No. Yo, I get in the car. James Cleveland or Jay-Z?
Yeah, right.
Let me jam some Jay-Z. I'll catch James Cleveland on this go round. It was just weird for me. And that's like, this was the presentation of worship.
Doc.
Now, some other research was done and some other things said, whatever. And then it capped for me these comments that he makes in his sermon. Again, we'll get into it and I'll let you go, one by one. But the comments that he makes in his sermon, he's almost actually judging God for his exact quote, and I'm saying exact. The thrust was, God chose male and female, but he's like, wait, because I wish God would have done it differently. I wish he would have made it easier. Instead of A and B, I wish he would have said A, B, C, D, depending on how you feel, where you are, whatever. And again, you could have whatever opinion around it you want, but why would you highlight, I wish God would have did something? It was just, all of it was just way too much for me. But when I finished watching it and I was overwhelmed and outraged, I thought in my head, this is Mike Todd.
Exactly.
So, again, it was just much, maybe just to cap off a bad, a bad or a long week and a bad weekend. This was just a little much for my liking. So I don't,
Here's the deal. Without getting into, theology and all that different stuff, let's just look at the words. Let's just look at the logical argument. So Mike Todd is saying that, hey, God gave the design of male and female. That's an A and B situation. It's a binary system, A and B. Now, he's speaking to the congregation, but he's also trying to speak to a larger audience of those in the LGBTQIA plus community. And he even went on to say that, hey, trans, you're welcome here. Trans is in the name of the church. Yeah, he said that.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said that. No, yeah, that's a quote. That's a quote. Now, here's the deal. Now, what he's saying is that, hey, I can't marry you because the kingdom is set up A and B. But then he goes into what you just said, that, hey,
So that's okay. Okay, that's the context.
That's context. Okay. So then it's like, well, hey, if I was there, if I had done it, then right. I would have
asked God.
But he said, but here's the deal. He says, I wish I could have made it simpler. God said A, B, which to me is very simple. It's true or false. It's A or B. That's it. That's to me, that you don't get any more simple than that. Right. And then he gives the argument for simplicity with the demonstration of complexity by adding C and D. So before we get into any theological,
right.
Just grammatically and numerically, you're wrong.
Right.
Because you're trying to give the argument that this way would be more simple, but yet you use it with a demonstration of more complex.
Right.
This is what happens when you lack in theology. You have to make up for it in theatrics.
Right. And he's not, and keep in mind, he's not hiding that he lacks in.
But the problem is that he's holding that up like a virtue.
Right. He's
holding up his lack of training, lack of knowledge, like a badge of honor. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You sound just like him too. Oh my goodness.
I'm just telling you. I mean, I can't fake the little bangs in the ponytail, but that's what you're saying. I don't know. So that's a problem because your job is to know. And I mean, we're talking about some crisscross applesauce simple type stuff. You're supposed to know this.
Right.
Now, it may be uncomfortable, in the words of Al Gore, the inconvenient truth.
Right.
But you're supposed to deliver the mail, not write it. So basically what you're saying is that, hey, I could have improved on God's will. That's what you're saying theologically.
That's almost exactly what he said.
That's what he said. That's what he meant by what he said.
Right.
Does that make sense? That's the message being conveyed when you say that, hey, this is how God set it up. But, I would have done it a little different, a little better.
Right.
But again, instead of presenting God's word and will to the people, it's, hey, let me help to share something with you that makes you comfortable instead of you conforming. Let me try to conform God's word and will to your convenience.
Right.
He wants to invite them into an ecclesiastical Burger King so they can have it their way.
Wow.
Meanwhile, they're on the drive through to damnation, buddy. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. He's leading people astray.
Yeah.
This is not even, this is so far. Now, it's like, hey, look, spit on your hands, wipe it on somebody's face.
Right. Okay. Right. It's
Inadvisable.
Inadvisable, distasteful, the whole nine.
Yeah.
But it's not theologically inaccurate, and it's not heaven or hell.
Right. Now I think I think that there's been a lot of things that have been problematic. But I think now it's like, hey, bro, this is so clear, concrete, and concise that I can't help but figure out what other label to put on this than heretical.
Well, and he said, and I was trying to find the exact quote so I could read it, that I didn't know.
You know why you can't find it? Because they took it down. They took down the video, so what you can see now only lives on through clips that people have taken.
Right. Okay.
Because they know what they've done. I saw somebody put up clips, jump cut, and it was a riot in France, a Grammy show, and some other rally.
Okay.
And the Easter service at Mike Todd at Transformation Church.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't tell which was which. They all looked like it was the same event happening. That's how bad this was. You know,
Wow.
I mean, if you can't tell the difference between your church's Resurrection Sunday program
and a riot,
you
got an issue.
Between the Grammys,
right?
You know,
right,
and you know, and a church service, we got a problem. You know, when you got your church members
mm-hmm.
that are being put in a position where they have to act out, you know, a play that accentuates in a sexual way their body parts.
Did you
see what I'm saying?
See that?
Yeah, foolishness.
I was like, where does this? What context?
What?
Is this
Yeah,
in?
what chapter and verse is this?
So
they must have been in Judges. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. Yeah, like
let me at least try to build it so you guys can mentally see it. I wish I could just add the clip,
right?
And we'll try.
And we can, yeah, we can.
We'll try to. So there were these three girls on stage, and one girl was saying, like, basically, like, to some extent that she wished she was thicker, or she wished she had a bigger butt,
derriere,
yeah,
and enhanced.
And some other girl said that like, you know, little butts matter, or something like Black Lives Matter or something like that.
All the while that they're twerking, they're giving a little leather pants, little gyration.
What part of the Easter play is this?
Yeah, I'm like, this is an apocrypha. This isn't gospel according to Thomas. This is, you know, like, where is this? This is the book of Enoch. Like, where are y'all at?
Say, what part of the Easter play is this?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing where in the Apocrypha, in the maps, in the glossary, nowhere am I seeing this. But here's the deal. Mike Todd gave the game away because he said that, you know, he wanted to do something that was, you know, creative and dynamic and all different stuff. And they asked him, well, Pastor, how far you want to go? And he said that I want to go anything short of sin. So that tells me right there that you take the position of provocateur,
but
you set out to make a controversial display.
So
that's your goal.
Here's why.
Not the glory of God.
No. And here's why I can see him doing that. Even in his preaching, even when he ain't spitting on people, even in his preaching, you could tell he likes to push the envelope. That's his thing. The only thing about pushing the envelope is, at some point,
you reach the end of the desk.
You're gonna push it too far,
right?
And like that's what all of this is. And I understand the generation. I know somebody's gonna say I'm hating. I'm not. I can care less about Mike Todd and whatever. I'm just saying, like, as a presentation of reaching a lost generation, reaching a generation that does not desire church. We say it all the time. I hear my young people say it all the time. I love God, but I don't do church. And here's why they don't. It looks the same. It sounds the same. Everything's the same. Why would I go?
Right. If it's the same presentation as the club,
I'll just go to the club.
I'll just go to the club.
But you know what I'm saying?
And the cover charge is less.
I mean,
come, you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't add up. And again,
But see, this is what we live in an age of grifters more than I've ever seen. And you have different types. You have political grifters. You have spiritual or religious grifters. This is just another grift.
Right.
You should be, if you're, it should be somewhat uncomfortable for the sinner in church.
Somewhat.
You see what I'm saying?
Somewhat.
It shouldn't be to the point you shouldn't not feel welcome.
Right.
But conviction is not comfortable.
Okay. And
now, once you're converted, then it's like, oh, okay.
And here's what I mean. Because I said somewhat, and I know somebody's going to send an email, whatever. All of us should have some level of uncomfort.
Right.
Because, again, the hospital is for sick people.
Right.
And you don't get well by being comfortable.
Right.
Like, hey, and people say what they want, like, pastor included.
Mm-hmm.
Cut me off on the freeway. Yeah, I'm going to say, and sometimes it's...
You're going to tell them they're number one?
And sometimes it's not until in the sanctuary, in that moment, in worship, where you see yourself,
right?
And you're like, you know what? I'm wrong for that. I missed it, but give me another opportunity,
right?
And I'll do better.
I'll do better
next time than I did. Like right. All of us should feel some level of uncomfort in church. But when your pastor purports and puts on this image, and then says, I've never preached a Easter sermon. I never didn't know how to preach an Easter sermon, so I ain't gonna start now.
Right.
Like he's given, it's almost like he's giving himself cushion.
Yeah, no, that's what he's giving himself cover that he can run to. So, well, hey, I told you I didn't know. That's your fault for listening to me.
Right.
That's what you see what I'm saying? Right. So that's the kind of deal, kind of like when T.D. Jakes said the whole deal, I'm evolved and evolving.
Right.
So what you're saying is that you don't know what you believe.
Right.
Or you believe, or you propose to believe publicly only what's expedient at the moment.
Right.
When it's more convenient, I'll believe something else. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. Well, you stand for nothing then. So
right.
You just stand for yourself and the,
we coined it a couple years ago, me and a friend. Hey, wrong is wrong even when I do it.
Right.
And sometimes we gotta, we gotta stand on that because this is just sad. He even said like, when I first started pastoring, I didn't know anything about pastoring. Like, so what you're saying is you were pastoring as a novice.
Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. I mean, again, you're trying to give yourself cover so that you can always feign. Come on, man. You know what a pastor does, bro.
Right.
You may not know how to do it well,
but you know what needs to be done.
You know what needs to be done.
You know what the function.
You don't have to to understand the function.
Right.
It's like I don't have to be a professional baseball player to know hit the ball and get on base. It's kind of like that's right, Uncle Phil. Just like you see on TV. You don't have to be a professional in the sport to understand the basics.
This is what it does.
This is what. Yeah, you preach and teach and you take care of the spiritual needs of the congregation.
Right.
It doesn't take. You don't have to get a seminary degree to understand that.
Right.
Now, how to do what you do, now that's a different story.
Right.
But come on, man. It's like you're just trying to give yourself cover for the next debacle. And so then whenever somebody comes at you, well, I said that
I didn't know.
And I did say what the Bible said, but you also said what the Bible didn't say. Did God really say? Right. It goes back to the same playbook.
Right.
You know, did God really say?
Right. And listen, man, there's I heard a whole bunch of preaching this last week that sometimes I believe that we believe that that moment needs me to be so smart that I need to bring something else to it.
The gospel in itself is radical. God became man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know, every other religion on the face of the planet is based on works. It's based on what you do.
Trying and not trusting.
Right.
Yeah. But again, and maybe it was just me. I listened to a lot of preaching this last week.
Right.
And some was superb.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I mean, when you get a minute, go hear Charlie Dates at Church Rock Walls.
At Church Rock Walls.
Oh,
yeah. I haven't looked at it, but I heard.
Oh my goodness.
I heard good things.
Oh my goodness.
I heard good things. It's on my watch list. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a look.
Everyone from Monday, Thursday at Fellowship Church of Texas. William Jordan. Everybody did a great job.
Pointer was there, right?
Pointer. Parks. Jamarian Williams. And the other names are Frank Harris and Kareem Jackson. And everyone did a great job. It was a lot of great preaching.
Oh yeah.
But there was a lot of preaching I heard this week that was just inaccurate, incomplete. And again, these are presentations. Here's what I think we haven't grasped yet. And I know I'm being very judgmental. Today I'm on my soapbox because I listened to it all week. I don't think we've grasped yet that sometimes it's good. We're reaching people to being on World Wide Web and social media and all that. And sometimes it exposes what people wouldn't ordinarily see. And so it's that catch-22, again, it was just a trying week for me, and probably this over-listen, but the Mike Todd thing for me was just like,
yeah. To me, it's just emblematic, because he's not the only one. He's just kind of the most prominent, I would say, in terms of the multicultural, non-denominational.
Isn't what
I'm everything and nothing parlance. Yes,
so
as a strategist, not as a pastor. As a strategist.
So he didn't say that.
I'm looking through the Bible. And he gave some apostles. He gave some. I don't see strategists.
You don't see.
He gave some pastors and teachers.
I get it because of his history in church culture. He's had some success. In church culture, not his own personal whatever in church. But I would expect somebody like him to say, "Hey, look, I wouldn't do that."
May not be the best look, my guy.
You're right. That's not. That's not a sustainable model. It may get you people in here today.
Because what happens the Sunday after that? When there's no pyro?
What happens this week when you got to take that video down?
Right.
That's not a sustainable model.
Yeah, Pastor Todd, I missed last week. Y'all got no.
Yeah, no. So
don't worry about that. Just come next Sunday.
Forget looking to another Sunday. It didn't even last through the week. So why do it? So here's my frustration when it comes to that type of someone. I know preparation went into it.
Oh,
so someone checked off and said,
now here's where I will give them excellence of execution.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the sense of just production value, process, all that, high marks. it was professionally done in terms of the actual execution. My problem is the intent and the content, not the execution.
Right.
You operate at a high level.
Right.
In terms of how you did.
Right.
Problem is what you did.
So you got, so someone said, this is a great idea. You
Well, it was Mike Todd. He said, hey, let's go everything short of sin. But my deal is that why would you try to walk up to the line of sin? Because when you say that, you're saying, hey, I want to do everything but.
Let's push this envelope all the way in.
I want to look at it, but I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you do that, then here's what you come out with. So you got a video you got to take down, not even days outside of it. It's just, I don't know. And maybe, and again, that's me on my soapbox because I think so highly of God and church.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not, I'm the only one that, that does. But You're
not the only one. But we need something figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But I'm very disappointed because there's such a great platform.
Right.
That could be used for the glory of God.
Right. Right.
But everything that keeps happening out of there is only to aggrandize the person of Mike Todd.
Right. So what does God say about it? We don't know. But we left knowing exactly what Mike Todd said about it. And my thing is, what you just said earlier, like the word of God doesn't need you to rewrite it, just recite it.
There you go.
Just say what it says.
Just say what the book says.
Say what it says.
It's an open book test.
Yeah. Say what it says and sit down. So I don't know. Yeah. That's my
and I'm all about the creative presentation of the truth.
And no one is knocking.
I'm all about the creative presentation of the truth, but that the focus needs to be more on the truth and not your creative presentation. You can't stray away from the truth in the effort to be new or different or whatever. Actually, that's a problem if you're saying something different.
It should be.
Does that make sense? That's a problem.
You can't tell me thousands of years of
what would happen if math teachers across the country said, you know what, 2 + 2 = 4? It's been done.
I got this new thing.
Been done. Boring. Stale. 2 + 2 = Thomas Jefferson.
Now that.
That's radical. That. Yeah.
And wait till what I do next year.
Right. Yeah. Next year.
I'm going to do something new.
It's not going to be numbers. Right. We're not even going to use numbers, buddy. Wait to see next year.
I don't get it. Yeah. But, and again, those people that are being blessed by Mike Todd's ministry, I'm not trying to say, I just this one particular instance. Well, actually, for Mike Todd, this is not one particular instance, but I'm saying
this is just a continuation.
He went too far, and it didn't yield the kind of fruit that he desired. I don't think. Not if you got to take the video down.
No,
I didn't know they took the video down, but I could understand why they did because it was
because I mean, and it takes too much time and preparation and rehearsal to put on a production of that there's someone went rogue.
Right.
And it's just too many things too many times. Right. It's the lyrics of the songs that you said. Right. They change the lyrics. Right. They use secular, beats. Does that make sense? Melodies, but then they change the words. And then some of the stuff, it's like, the devil was an angel turned into a hustler. Like what?
And I was like, what?
What? Why are you singing that in church? Ever?
And then
but see, part of this,
the booty come in church. I'm just Sister Johnson is cringing in her seat,
right? And that's basically what he said is that all the religious people puckered up now, so, but this is, and again, not to get too deep, but this is what happens when you have an Easter service versus you celebrate Resurrection Sunday. Part of that You know,
I don't know that he was swinging at either one.
No, I mean, he was just doing whatever he was going to do to have a big show of what Transformation Church and Mike Todd could put on.
I think,
you see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that in the vein of the pagan roots of Easter coming from, you know, the worship of Ishtar and stuff like that, where we get a lot of the common cultural cues comes from pagan worship of a false god.
And I get it. I get
you see what I'm saying?
But most people that celebrate Easter and still call it Easter don't know anything about Easter.
Most don't. They don't know.
I don't think this came out of Mike.
No. I'm not saying, again, not the primary.
Right. But,
just a contributing.
It was dipped and drained in Mike Todd flexing Mike Todd's muscles on what Mike Todd could do. I'm gonna show you what I'll do to this Resurrection Sunday.
Right.
And it the more and more it went on, it became more about Mike Todd than it did about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And that was the basis of the failure. And any other preacher that stood up thinking that I'm going to bring something to Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. Like, you can't bring anything to it. That we're celebrating the completed work of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? What work are you doing? We're just pointing at the work that's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just drowned in, watch this.
Well, that's what happens when, you know, you got some people are trying to work the works of he who sent, and he's trying to work the works of me.
Yeah, right.
Work the works of me who sent me. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I don't, you know. But again, you're being blessed by the ministry. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying in this instance, he pushed the envelope maybe a little bit too far. So I don't. Shawn, you got anything going on this week?
In terms of where are we at? We're having a annual day celebration at Good Shepherd coming up here pretty soon. I don't know if it'll be by the time this makes air. I'm looking forward to it'll make it. So on the 23rd, we got Pastor Charles Allen.
Okay.
For Women's Annual. The Ripper.
That's my big brother.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that.
And we'll add a link. I'll add a link, especially on YouTube. If there's any high school senior that is trying to figure out financing and funding for college, Burns Barbecue is going to give at least $50,000 scholarships to kids that are going the traditional school university setting route. Mm-hmm. So I'll make sure I add the link, or you can just go to Burns's website and fill out the scholarship. Yeah, I'll send you a text to remind you that has all the information. Yeah. There's another scholarship. As I get them, I'll definitely send them because I know how that is for parents, and I definitely want as many of our young people. If you're not going to go to school, I don't want finances to be the reason that you don't. Mm-hmm. And so I'll make sure I add that and send that to as many as we can.
50 Houston seniors.
50 Houston seniors. And
so I got it pulled up
to their 50th year. Local company, Burns Barbecue. There was something else. Some other things that are coming down the pike for not just our kids, but our seniors, especially in Northeast Houston, District B. So I'll let us know that information as we get them. What is today's date?
Today's the 12th.
It might not make air, but there's a walk going on this I don't want to mispronounce the name of the organization, but it's led by Sylvester Turner is the honorary chair, but it's led by good friend and brother Jamel Johnson. And so they're doing their best to help save the lives of young African American men, especially as it relates to kidney disease and heart health things. So it'll be at Texas Southern on the 15th. That walk, and then it'll also be on-site clinic stuff where you can get your numbers checked, make sure you're good, blood pressure, the whole nine. We know that high blood pressure, hypertension is a silent killer in our community. And so to get on the plus side of that, this initiative led by Jamel Johnson, great work. And I definitely want to, make sure we support that.
Yeah, we announced it at Good Shepherd. It's the National African American Male Wellness Agency.
Male Wellness Agency. So, and then, because we announced it as well, but I want to make sure that we put that out. And there's something else I know I'm forgetting.
Yeah, Saturday, April 15th, a 5K walk and run.
Right. Right.
Yes, sir. 9 a.m.
9 a.m. on the 15th.
9 a.m. on the 15th. The event begins at 7, but they're going to start the walk and run. Yeah, so they'll start doing the screenings as early as 7 a.m.
Okay.
Yes. And then 9 a.m. they will start the 5K walk and run.
Okay. And prayerfully at some point we'll have Jamel come in and kind of walk us through what all that they're doing and ways that we can help them do what they're doing.
We'll put it in the comments, but you can go to aamwahouston.com.
Okay.
That's the link.
Done. And I know there's something else that I'm forgetting. I'll remember at 3 a.m. and I'll sign back on and let you know exactly what I'm forgetting. I think there's something else I'm forgetting, but my sometimers done kicked in. I ain't got all timers, but I got sometimers.
Yeah.
But we'll address it. But again, thank you guys for being with us. Like, share, subscribe, leave comments, so that we can kind of talk about the things.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear your perspective, in the comments about what we talked about on this episode, and also, to hear from you on things that you want to address, things that that you would like to have us talk about and bring up. So,
please don't be scared to tell us that you disagree. Shawn is wrong. That Michael Jordan is not the greatest of all time. Don't be shy. Tell him
there's a way that seems right.
Yeah, just tell him you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah. You're not right. And again, if you have events that are going on in the community that you need our support, please feel free. Send us what you have so we can make sure we do our part to get the word out about things that are building our community. We're always talking about what's tearing our community down. If you got something going on that you want us to plug that's building our community, please send us that information so we can do that. I think that's it. I know I'm forgetting something, but I'll think about it later.
Yeah.
Prayers for Forest Lawn Church, Northeast Houston.
Oh, yes.
Pastor Ricky Bell
has transitioned from labor to reward.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I did. Yes.
Great dude, great brother, friend to every preacher, pastor. Great work in the community, great church.
See that.
So we're praying for Pastor Ricky Bell's family. We're praying for Forest Lawn Church family. We're praying for Pastor J. Michael Elmore, who's taken over at Forest Lawn, that God will continue to bless their work and keep them and bless them. So again, let's lift that family in prayer. Pastor Skinner, who lost his father, was still praying, covering Pastor Skinner and believe in prayer. Him and that family, that God will grant them peace during this season. I had a family lost a great grandchild, 1 year old.
Oh Lord!
In a car accident. So it's a lot going on, man. But let's do our best to look out for each other, pray for each other. All we have is each other. So again, thank you for joining us. And until the next time that we're blessed and fortunate enough to meet again, grace and peace.